Today on Public Eye News, 2 guns stolen from a state representative and a snowmobile death in Crystal Falls.
Later in the show, Dana Sangstock will have your weather and Max Stevens will be back with your sports. Hi, I'm Ross Ray.
And I'm Max Stevens. Welcome to Public Eye News. Northern graduate Martin Heichel is making his return to the university to talk about his success to students. Heichel was Verizon's vice president and is now the founder and CEO of Flatiron Apps Company and plans to talk about his progression from corporate executive to starting up his own company. After Heichel graduated from Northern, he went into sales management with PepsiCo. He then moved over to the technological sector where, after doing well at MCI Telecommunications Corporation, he went to work for Verizon. Heichel then stepped down from his vice president position and launched the first New York City transportation app known as ZabCab. Heichel's presentation will be held in the Peninsula rooms of the Northern Center at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, February 11th. And a state representative's Lansing home has been robbed of its guns. Taking nothing but 2 guns from Representative Beau Lefebvre's house, a robber smashed a window and reached into the house to open the door. Lefebvre says that the guns were not in a safe, but in his underwear drawer where they were hidden. The representative has a history with one of the guns that was stolen, as last week he openly carried the handgun into the Capitol during the governor's State of the State address to protest the gun laws that the governor had proposed. Both the AR-style handgun he took to the Capitol and another handgun were stolen during the break-in. The representative does not believe that the theft was a targeted attack and thinks that it was a random act that coincidentally happened during his gun protest.
The Michigan Department of Natural Resources, or DNR, held the first of many meetings yesterday meant to gather the public input regarding the Silver Lake Basin. They are looking to make the current boating access site accessible as a carry-in, carry-out site only. If you're looking to participate in those meetings, 3 more of them have been planned for April. They are Ironwood's Gogebic Community College on April 14th, Ishpeming's Township Hall on April 15th, and Houghton's Portage District Library on April 16th. All those meetings are taking place from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And a Crystal Falls man is dead after a snowmobile crash on Tuesday night. A 42-year-old man was traveling north on Trail 113 just south of Superior Avenue when he failed to negotiate a curve, struck a tree, and was thrown from his snowmobile. Deputies were called to the crash at Crystal Falls on 9:17 p.m., but the man was unfortunately dead at the scene. The crash remains under investigation and no other details have been made available.
A team of volunteer conservators is working to identify and repair some of the artifacts feared lost in a fire that occurred in the heart of Manhattan's Chinatown. On January 23rd, a fire tore through the storage building of the Museum of Chinese in America in New York City. Firefighters spent more than 24 hours trying to extinguish the blaze and have spent the past week inspecting the structure to deem it safe. The museum housed about 1/3 of their collection in the building, which is roughly 85,000 artifacts. 35,000 of the artifacts have been digitized and backed up. However, the rest of the archive is being sifted through by volunteers working to restore the articles of Chinese American history. And a man who operated a web server that hosted a child porn site that had over 1 million images has pleaded guilty to a conspiracy charge. Eric Marquez was accused of operating a dark web hosting service that was used by thousands of viewers to share and watch child pornography. The website housed hundreds of thousands of images featuring violent sexual abuse and prepubescent children. Marquez faces a minimum of 15 years in prison after his guilty plea. However, he could get up to 30 years for 1 count of conspiracy to advertise child pornography. U.S. District Judge Theodore Chang will have the final decision on the plea agreement. Stay with us, because after this break, we'll be back with your national and international news.
On country music, Vietnam divides America.
Rednecks, hippies, anti-Vietnam, pro-Vietnam.
Bob Dylan meets Johnny Cash.
Dylan and Dad together, that was an explosion.
And Chris Christopherson comes to Nashville.
Chris Christopherson is probably the best songwriter. Compare Chris with Gershwin or anybody else.
When country music continues.
Friday night at 9 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back. People everywhere are whipping out their cameras to document the effects of extreme high tides on shorelines from the United States to New Zealand, and in turn are helping coastline cities. Volunteer photographers have been going out to shorelines during so-called king tides to capture how high the water line gets and where the water goes. They then upload the images, many with geolocation data embedded, for use by scientists, policymakers, and even city planners to study and prepare for the effects of climate change. The photos can show where flooding occurs on specific roads or give clues of whether it's safe to build new housing. Citizens are preparing to document the winter's final king tide, February 8th through 10th, off of the U.S. West Coast, followed by the one in New Zealand on February 12th. And Andrew Caballino is believed to still be kidnapped by his father over a week ago. The search for the missing baby in Florida is ongoing, and Danielle Garcia has the story.
For days, investigators have searched this stretch of State Road 29 in the Big Cypress National Preserve, carefully making their way through thick brush and swampy water. But still, no sign of baby Andrew. This week, the newborn baby's family buried his mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. Police believe the baby's father, Ernesto Caballero, murdered the three women, then kidnapped his son. What happened next, no one knows. Detectives eventually discovered the father's dead body in these woods north of Tampa. But again, there was no sign of baby Andrew.
My phone went off when I was still in bed that morning, and when I picked it up and looked at it, and I thought, oh, how tragic this is.
Detectives believe this is the route Caballero took on the last drive of his life.
And then I hear on the news, I hear people saying about it.
Lorraine Burgess lives near where federal agents have joined with Collier County and Pasco deputies in the search for the baby.
It's crazy.
Canines sniffed for clues, from diapers to any trace that the baby might have been here. But many worry for baby Andrew's safety as day 7 of the search comes to an end.
But I thought, oh, this baby's in trouble. It's too young to make it on its own.
Yeah, I hope they find what they're looking for, because for that to happen for a little baby, and I mean, I pray for the family, that they find them safe. And I got grandkids myself.
Christina Cook, who spent nearly 11 months in space, landed safely in Kazakhstan along with 2 other International Space Station members. The NASA astronaut set the record for longest space flight by a woman on this most recent trip to orbit. Cook was joined by European Space Agency Commander Luca Parmitano and Russian cosmonaut Alexander Skvorstov on the second space flight of her career. The 328-day mission is providing researchers with the opportunity to observe the effects of a long-term space flight on a woman. The study is important as NASA plans to return to the moon and begin to prepare for the human exploration of Mars. And President Trump plans to address his acquittal at impeachment charges at a White House event today, but shared some of his thoughts earlier at the National Prayer Breakfast. Katherine Johnson has more details from the White House.
President Trump is celebrating the end of the Senate impeachment trial.
We went through hell unfairly, did nothing wrong.
Supporters joined him for remarks at the White House this afternoon.
We've all been through a lot together, and we probably deserve that hand for all of us, because it's been a very unfair situation.
The president attended the National Prayer Breakfast this morning, where he rejected the notion he should not hold his political enemies in contempt.
When they impeach you for nothing, then you're supposed to like them. It's not easy, folks.
The president slammed Utah Republican Mitt Romney, who voted with Democrats to convict on one impeachment charge.
I don't like people who use their faith as justification for doing what they know is wrong.
Raising up his acquittal thing and mischaracterizing other people's motivation. He's talking about things that he knows little about, faith and prayer.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi watched as the president held up newspapers proclaiming his acquittal. Katherine Johnson, CBS News, the White House.
A study has found that the most recent movie award shows have been increasingly diverse in both sex and race. Of the top 100 films from last year, it was found that 31 of those movies had people in color in leads and co-leads, which is an increase of 4 films from the year before. And from that same group of films, females made up 43 of the leads and co-leads, which is more than double the 20 that there were in 2007. Representation in the film industry has become increasingly important as the diversity of America increases. Currently in America, the population consists of 51% women and also being 40% people of color. And after the break, we'll be back with your weather and sports. Stay tuned.
11-time Grammy Award winner Chaka Khan returns home for a special concert performance. Chaka Khan Homecoming.
Late Saturday night at 1 a.m.
Hi, welcome back to Public Eye News. My name's Dana Sinstock, and I'll have the weather for you today. Current conditions are partly cloudy, a temperature of 30, winds west-northwest at 4 miles per hour, pressure 929.76 and falling. Tonight will be snowy with a low of 18, winds north at 12 miles per hour. And looking at tomorrow, it'll also be snowy with a high of 21, winds north at 14 miles per hour. Looking at temperatures across the UP, we have Sault Ste. Marie at 21, Manistee at 26, Escanaba at 23, and Menominee also at 23. Ironwood is at 23 as well. Iron Mountain. Ironwood is at 27, Houghton is at 29, and Marquette at 30. Looking ahead, Saturday we have a high of 21 and a low of 15 and partly cloudy. Sunday is a high of 27, low of 17 and snowy. Monday will be a high of 31 and a low of 21 and partly cloudy. So it's an important day for the NBA.
It is the most exciting day in basketball, NBA Finals notwithstanding, of course. Today is trade deadline day in the NBA, and the Memphis Grizzlies have traded veteran guard and former Finals MVP Andre Iguodala to the Miami Heat. Iguodala subsequently agreed to a 2-year, $30 million contract extension with the Heat, a deal that also includes a team option for a 3rd year. The deal also includes Memphis sending Solomon Hill and Jay Crowder to Miami, while in exchange Miami sends Dion Waiters, Justice Winslow, and James Johnson to the Grizzlies. This trade comes as the Grizzlies look to offload Iguodala, as the 36-year-old veteran refused to play for the rebuilding Grizzlies. Miami, on the other hand, acquires a seasoned veteran who was an integral part of the Golden State Warriors' 3 championships over the past 5 years, as the Heat prepare to make a push to represent the Eastern Conference in this summer's NBA Finals. And MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred said earlier today that talks over the proposed sale of a controlling share of the New York Mets from the families of Fred Wilpon and Saul Katz to Steve Cohen have ended. Manfred stated bluntly at the end of an owners' meeting today that there simply is not going to be a transaction. Cohen had previously bought an 8% limited partnership stake in 2012 for $40 million, while the deal under discussion would have seen Cohen acquire an 80% controlling stake in the team, valued at $2.6 billion. His statements to the press regarding the falling through of the sale, Commissioner Manfred denied the rumors that the deal fell through because of foul play on the Wilpons' part. At MLB meetings this week, Wilpon repeatedly declined to comment. And the Golden State Warriors and Minnesota Timberwolves have agreed to a trade including D'Angelo Russell and Andrew Wiggins. The full details of the trade have Golden State sending Russell, Jacob Evans, and Omari Spellman to Minnesota, while Minnesota sends Wiggins, a protected 2021 first-round pick, and a 2021 second-round pick to Golden State. The Wolves have been searching for a point guard to pair with star big man Karl Anthony Towns and have landed D'Angelo Russell, who was taken second in the 2015 draft, while Towns was taken first in that same year's draft. Russell is averaging a career-high 23.6 points per game this season with the Warriors after being sent to Golden State as part of the trade that sent Kevin Durant to Brooklyn. Meanwhile, Wiggins has been averaging 22.4 points per game to go along with 5 rebounds per game, as the Warriors look to retool their supporting cast for when the currently injured Steph Curry and Klay Thompson return to the lineup. Well, and that's all the time we have for today. Thank you very much for joining us in this edition of Public. See you all tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.